What is going on, beautiful people? Red, white, and Bills. The NFL season is finally back. Week one of the preseason just concluded for the Buffalo Bills. And I know it's preseason, but what I love about preseason is you see a lot of guys who are fighting to make an NFL roster. To even get to this point is extremely difficult. And all the work that these young men had to put in is just incredible to see them showcase their talent, whether it be for a quarter or the whole game. But it's nice to see, especially with us. We got a lot of young talent who's got a lot of things going for him and great things out of camp. A lot of great words and video clips that we've seen throughout the training camp. So there's a lot to dive into and see. Unfortunately, I didn't get to only saw the first offensive drive, and then the TV changed the channel on me. Didn't have it on NFL Network because I'm from New York, and for some reason it was blacked out. So I wasn't able to watch it. But I do have the game recap on my phone. We'll discuss a little bit there. But I'll definitely be able to talk about the first offensive drive. It was Case Keenum. Obviously, Josh Allen's not going to be playing, probably not until the last game of the preseason, maybe a quarter, maybe a drive, just a single drive, just to get the offense's feet wet. But it's nice having Case Keenum because he's a proven starter. You know, he was with Diggs at the Minneapolis Miracle when they beat the Saints. But when you have a guy like Josh Allen, it's hard to replicate him. But to have a backup like Keenum or Mr. Trubisky is nice because, you got veteran leadership and, experience in the game. So it was nice to see him go out there. But I thought it was interesting to see James Cook return, not because it's weird to see a running back be in the kick returning position, but because he may be getting a good amount of offensive snaps, switching off with Singletary as a number 2 back. So I would have anticipated him not to be doing that, but definitely interesting to say the least. I know it was only a few plays, but watching Shakir play, I was just like, wow, this guy's valid already. I think he's going to have an awesome year. I know he's a rookie and he's like our 4th receiver, 5th receiver, but it's just super exciting to see a guy like him with his speed and his ability just to go out there and prove himself against the Colts had the first team defense out there. So for at least the first drive that I watched. So it was nice to see the first team defense of the Colts playing against our backups and our guys trying to prove that they could be on this team because they did pretty well from the first drive. Even the offensive line, which is still talked about as our weak spot of our team. It's I forgot it was maybe like an NFL Network or another brand. We're saying how they got the Bills' total offensive line play being at 18th or 19th in the league with the run blocking at 27. So we had to prove it this year. And I know it was the second team, but they were going against the first team Colts defense with DeForest Buckner, Kwity Paye, Yannick Ngakoue. So it wasn't an easy task for them, especially being guys trying to make a roster. And especially that first drive, obviously, because that's the only thing I saw. They held their own and they looked pretty solid. They were able to block for Keenum. I didn't see any insane pressure. I saw Tommy Doyle jump a little bit too early on one play, but it wasn't called, so no harm, no foul. But overall, I was very pleased with how the line played. Crowder just missed a nice seal block on the defensive end on one run play for Moss, but that's what preseason's for, really, for guys like Crowder. But and the last thing I saw in that first drive was Moss. Moss, he was my guy that I was kind of not so sure about, and I'm still obviously not so sure about him, but he looked like he ran with a different sense of urgency and different energy this year than he was last year, and I love to see that. And overall, as far as the play calling, I thought Dorsey did a great job, and in his first little quarter, first drive of calling plays as an offensive coordinator, so that was pretty good to see too. Now, because I didn't get to watch the rest of the game, I'm sorry I have to look at my phone and look at box scores. But Matt Barkley led the way for the quarterback room, 18 for 24, 224 yards, 1 interception. Case Keenum, 11 for 18, 86 yards, 2 interceptions. Not too good, of course, but again, it's preseason, so these guys are just fighting for number 2 or number 3. Raheem Blackshear for rushing. He's the bottom of the depth chart for the running backs, but 2 touchdowns, 6 attempts for 11 yards. Cook 3 for 5. Duke Johnson 6 for 9. Keenum 1 for 3, and Moss 3 for 37 with a long of 27. And that was all in that first drive for Moss. Going to receiving, Blackshear had 4 for 60 yards with a long of 32. So it's really nice to see a guy like him who's at the bottom of the depth chart behind Duke and Zach Moss contributing in both receiving and rushing. Yeah, he didn't have a lot of rushing yards, but he had 2 touchdowns, which is pretty good. Cook was 1 for 5. Gentry was 2 for 11. Our boy Isaiah Hodgins, who we've been dying to see because he was injured one year and then didn't really get a good shot last year. 9 for 77 for 27 yards as a long, which was an average of 8.6. So almost 10 receptions in the first preseason game, which led the receiving room. And he was one of the guys I really wanted to see, along with Kyer Elam and James Cook, too, were my top 3 guys who I was really excited to see. And Kumro had 2 for 20, Shakir 5 for 92, long 25, average 18, which was really awesome for a guy like him, fighting for us. So I think he could play all over. So he's in the slot position too, but with McKenzie, I think they can move Shakir around too because of his speed is just incredible, and he has great hands. Defensively, I saw this play shared on Instagram. Boogie Basham, my boy, forced fumble, strip sack, and then Benford picked it up. No, I can't remember if it was Benford. I think it was Bernard. Yeah, Bernard. He picked it up, scoop and score, 69-yard touchdown. Pretty incredible. Bernard also had 3 tackles. Kyer Elam, 2 tackles, and he did have a good pass breakup off of people posting it. I was able to see it, so it's nice to see. Giles Harris with 6 tackles. DeMar Hamlin with 4. And then we got, what's his name? Balin Spector, linebacker from Clemson. 9 tackles. So Tim Settle with 2. And then that's basically wrapping it up for the defense. But we won the game 27-24. I should have said that in the beginning. But I was just so excited to get to talk about these young guys. Tyler Bass sank the game-winning field goal from 46 yards away. And I know it's preseason, but it's still awesome for the guys to get out there and play. And then punting, it's another big competition with the Bills right now. Punt god Matt Ariza, 82-yard punt with his 1 punt. And Hack had a 38-yard one, but it was inside the 20, so it was, it was a good coffin punt. So I guess that's still a battle going on, but that if you haven't seen that punt yet, go on the Buffalo Fanatics page and watch how he looked like he didn't even try. He just boop, and it just flew. But very exciting stuff from these young guys. Hopefully I can watch the next game fully and have a better analysis of the game. But I'm just so happy to be talking about Buffalo Bills football again. And I'll be putting out another video before the next preseason game, getting back into the rhythm of things, 2 to 3 videos a week, because now that the season started, I got to get back into the grind, because with the off season, I never watched much college football. I've said this before. And when I was starting my business, so things got a little busy. So even though that's an excuse, I will be getting to college football this year. So I have more off-season content. But now that the preseason started, there's a lot more to talk about. Drop a comment. Let me know who your star of the preseason week 1 was. And I'd be excited to talk about it more. And then if you want to have a live show next week, I might do that too. So like, share, comment, subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. Go Bills.